Hi, Kimberly. So thanks for attending. This is the June 24th regular meeting of the Midcoast Community Council. I am filling in for Kimberly, who is on Zoom right now. So I'm filling in for Kimberly because she's on Zoom. So will you give us the roll
Yes, Scott,
here?
David, here, Connie, here. Antonio,
Here.
I'm here. So Gus is not here. Kimberly's, you want to say
Kimberly?
something, Kimberly?
Would you
I'm
like to
here.
make any statement about why you're not here in person or no?
Yes, I'm attending remotely under the just cause provision of AB 2449 because of the caregiving need of my parent. I'm attending from a private room with a closed door and there is no one in the house under 18 years of age.
Awesome, thank you. That brings us to any reports from the Board of Supervisors or anybody else that'd like to report. So let her rip. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Scott. Been a busy 2 weeks since just dealing with the situation, assisting with permits and planning processes and those types of things. I followed up on a comment from Kimberly. The planning department is going to have a meeting on the 30th to talk about the LCP. That's part of their normal outreach. They came to a meeting with you guys before and presented it. They're going to present it to the general public and then bring those comments back to you after their general meeting with the public. That'll be in our office in the Oceana Hotels mall, I guess we call it.
Yeah.
So I believe that is Tuesday, the 30th?
30th, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday the 30th.
Seven PM, or 6 PM?
6 PM, I
6
believe.
PM.
6, yeah. So I've set up a large screen television that I got from surplus there, and we've got chairs and rearranged the room to make it a little bit more friendly for that type of setting for a meeting. So if you want to swing by and take a look, we've done some remodeling of the coastside office. So that's it for my report. Do you have any
I
questions?
would just like to ask one clarifying question. You said that they are going to be taking comments at the June 30th meeting and then looking, and this is the part I want to clarify, you're going to be looking at them and then come back to us with.
Yeah, this is part of their normal outreach with whatever project they're doing, and
Okay.
part of the unincorporated counties is they
Okay.
try to do public comment.
Okay,
So that's part of the process.
Okay.
They presented to you 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks
something
ago.
like,
2 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah, and then they made some changes. They're
Okay.
gonna present on a public forum
Okay.
on Tuesday. And part of the process is gonna be coming back to you as well, so.
after the Tuesday
Yeah.
30th meeting. Well, I think we really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
just follow up and make sure that they know the concerns
Okay.
to keep the coordination with you.
Thank you, and thank the supervisor for that. Go
A
ahead.
quick question.
Sure.
What are the changes that were made from what was presented to us? Because we don't
I
know.
don't have the details of it either.
Is there a way that we could find out before?
I can check with planning.
Okay, thank you.
And so, could you send us all a draft of what the new proposals are?
Whatever I get, I can forward to you.
That'd be great.
I'm not sure if they've made plans or if they're just taking input,
Okay.
right? And I think it's an input meeting, to tell you the truth, but
Okay.
I'll verify that.
So may I ask a question?
Of course.
There you go.
I see your hand up.
Yeah, so David, thank you for responding. I appreciated that. I'm concerned because what we were told was that this meeting would include the MCC, as you referenced in your response, in terms of the planning and in offering alternatives to the original proposal. And what's been posted on the planning site, that seems like a footnote. And my understanding was that they were supposed to share alternatives with us in advance of this meeting, and that we were supposed to also contribute some suggestions for alternatives. So I've been waiting on that and haven't received anything. And when I emailed Director Monowitz, I got no response.
Yeah, I
So,
will follow up on that.
and I understand the supervisor is on vacation. Is that
Yeah, I'll be
true?
back on Monday.
So before this meeting, I really feel that, once again, here we are shorthanded with short notice. on something that we were told would be handled differently. And I'm concerned about this because we don't, I'm not sure all of us can attend. Maybe we can, but without knowing what those alternatives are, we can't prepare any comments or understand, we won't have an opportunity to understand what those things are. And we were told that we would.
Okay,
So
so
how do you suggest that we get through to the planning department on this? And it still feels like it's being pushed through really quickly and ignoring what I thought the supervisor was clear about.
right, well, they are on a timeline, right? If they kick it down the road, there's no use doing it, right? Because all that time will be gone by, so I'm not sure what their timeline is for that, but I will get clarification if it is gonna be presenting or taking input, what the medium is on that. And see if there's any advanced documents I can get for you guys.
We were told that before they scheduled this meeting, they would be in touch with Kimberly and we would coordinate. Okay.
I have my hand up.
Who is that?
That's good.
Sid,
So Sid, if you
Okay,
could
Sid,
wait.
okay, Sid, before you comment on the LCP that we're lightly discussing right now, this is an agendized item, so if you have a comment on this, we're gonna be talking about it.
I have a hand up for this discussion right now.
Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. This
No.
conversation is also agendized.
I wanted to talk to
tonight.
Dave.
Well, let me find out.
He has a question for David.
Yes, I do.
Kimberly, were you
David.
done with yours?
So, yeah, I just want to add that, we are going to discuss this later in the meeting, but I'm seriously disturbed by this, and I'm not sure. I mean, they've left us without many alternatives here. We're kind of, it just feels wrong. And so, for us to make any decisions, it's left us in a place where any decision we make is based on incomplete information.
I'll take your concerns back.
It also feels like bad faith effort to
I'm-
me.
Just raised on.
Like, with the director and with Nicholas Calderon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Claire.
I was told at some event in Half Moon Bay last week that the county's LGBT office was now unfunded. And I was just wondering what you knew about that.
I'm unaware of that. I'll look into that. For Pride Week, we did have quite a showing and events for it, so I didn't hear from anybody at that event that we've unfunded them, so.
They said that a lot of their money was coming from the state via the county, and it was no longer available. And they were probably going to have to give up their programs.
There are a lot of funding sources that are drying up, but county specific, I haven't.
Apparently the county wasn't really funding it to begin with,
Okay,
but I was thinking that they were, maybe they should.
I'll look into that one as well.
Okay.
So anything else from the council for Dave? David? Go ahead, Sid.
Hi, Dave. Two things. I don't know if you saw your email about Seton Coastside.
I did, and I inquired today and actually yesterday and today. We don't have any solid information on when they plan to reopen. I saw you showed that the sign had been covered up. So we're trying to get more information, but there is no information available to us at this time.
Right, and the little security guard guy up there doesn't know a darn thing either. Secondly, and I will bring this up when the agenda item comes up, but nobody seems to be contacting the right planner. It's Bharat Singh, and I called him yesterday and got right straight through to him. And his cell phone answers. You don't have to go through the county Razzmatazz. He answers his cell phone, and I got it off the international World Wide Web. It's published. So he's the guy, he's the planner that's taking care of this agenda item, and he's the one that presented it on May 27th to the Planning Commission and to the MCC. So he's probably the one to reach out to, and Steve Monowitz probably didn't return the call because It's Bharat Singh's bailiwick. And I just want to apologize to Scott because he did talk to the city council and told them something about 75 units being proposed. And that just wasn't true. So they are only proposing the 40 units per year that is in the current LCP. So they only are trying to accommodate the small property owners that got, you know, slammed on the brakes for because of Mid-Penn stepping ahead and getting 71 units. It took up 2 years worth of the allocation. So anyway, that we can talk about that later. And thank you for trying to find out about Seton, because you know we are all trying to find out.
Yeah, it's on everybody's priority.
Yeah, the last question I had for you, Dave, is can you find out if they're gonna please have PCTV tape record the meeting on the 30th at Ray's office, so we'll have a record of that. Because not everybody can always go to Ray's office for those meetings, but that'll be an important meeting. Thank you.
Look into that one too.
Yeah. Okay.
Go
Good.
go ahead, Claire. Thank you, Sid. Go ahead, Claire.
I just wanted to let Sid know that perhaps you weren't online at the last meeting. When
wasn't.
Bharat did say that they would like to have the 75 unit cap, and we're working toward that.
That was a future. That can't be right now.
I think we're splitting nits here, and I just soon move on.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Claire. And we could bring this up again when it's agenda in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ann.
Thank you so much. I just had a quick question about the meeting. Will it be available by Zoom? And how many minutes per comment will be allowed?
I don't have the detail on that. I will check on if it's going to be on the MCPV or Zoom.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, so I see your hand up still, Sid. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. All right, so anybody else? I don't see any other public officials right now, so I'm gonna close.
No,
Item number
I do
2.
have my hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Sid.
Sorry, I put my microphone off when I wanted to make an announcement for MWSD. But is Dave finished? Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
David.
Bye, Dave. Okay. Sorry. I think I might have made this announcement already, but just in case I didn't, we do have an election coming up in November, and there are 3 seats available or up for election. The MWSD was transitioning from at-large to by division, and the first time we had the by division was 2 seats, and that was Catherine Slater Carter and myself, and we're in divisions 2 and 4. But the seats that are available coming up in November are divisions 1, 3, and 5. And 5 doesn't have anyone in it. So we need somebody from Moss Beach Heights area. A little bit of it goes across the highway into the other side of Moss Beach, but most of it's in Moss Beach Heights, where Mid-Penn and the rest of where the new fire station's going to be, and over there by Sunshine Valley Road. So I've reached out to people that I know over there. I don't know everybody, but if anyone knows somebody that lives on that side of the highway, like Ann Rothman or anyone, please put your name in if you're interested, because there will be a vacancy. There are 3 directors now, but they all live in Montera. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid. Okay, so that's definitely closed now. The next item is public comment and announcements. So You have 3 minutes to say whatever you need to say. And go ahead, Ann. I see your hand up.
Thank you very much. First, I want to wish everyone happy Pride. And I guess on to business. I would like to request that while writing letters to the Board of Supervisors, the MCC please ask that Cypress Point and Moss Beach be designated as 55 and older housing. There is nothing in the funding that would prevent the board from doing this. Item 3 on yesterday's Board of Supervisors meeting was a presentation and report by Aging and Disability Services on fighting the epidemic of isolation and loneliness. During the presentation, it was pointed out that the coast side is underserved with services for seniors. Age-friendly cities and communities should be a priority, they said. Well, Cypress Point can be that community for folks 55 and older. Services can be centralized, thus being more efficient and cost-effective. Poor health is linked to loneliness. It is so important for the health of our seniors to fight loneliness and provide nutrition and healthcare support. What better way to do that than to have a senior community in Moss Beach, where on-site meals, everyday activities, and mobile healthcare services could be brought to residents. Midpen Housing provides housing in Redwood City for homeless seniors, so they are very capable of building and running senior housing. The MCC needs to be the voice of seniors. Sid and I can't be the only two people making requests at the Board of Supervisors meetings. I personally consistently request senior housing and services for the Midcoast, but I need more voices. Please assist me with this matter. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Ann. That was awesome. I don't see any other. Oh, did you have your hand up, Connie?
No.
Okay. I saw MCC Zoom's hand was up there.
Just put the time on.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna close I don't see any other hands from the room.
Quick, Scott,
Yes.
the planning meeting does have a Zoom link on it, so it will be on Zoom on the 30th meeting.
Oh, thank you. So could you hear Dave make that comment saying that the public meeting on the 30th for the LCP will be on Zoom?
Yes,
So,
thank you.
oh, okay, cool. Awesome. So I'm going to close public comment. The next thing is the consent agenda, and we have two things to approve. It's the minutes.
They weren't posted to the.
So
Okay,
if I may, I did post the minutes for May 27th, although I did post them late, so I don't know if people had a chance to read them.
I looked this morning and didn't see them. Are they there?
They're now,
They are there.
just now though. I didn't leave them.
so since we're ahead of schedule, would you like to pause and have a look at the minutes and approve them? What do you think? What do you think about that? Are we okay with that? Okay, so do we need to put them on the screen or could everybody see them?
Probably would be good to put them on the
If
screen.
Okay,
folks are
Connie, can you get-
uncomfortable, it's fine to postpone it again, but they are there.
If we can do it, let's do it.
And
Can you-
also the retreat minutes, Claire, I don't know where those are.
You don't have those yet because I was waiting for you to take the minutes that I have done, which I think there were 2 or 3 pending, and process those so that I could use my template to do the retreat minutes.
Okay, so we'll figure this out after this meeting. Maybe we can talk tomorrow if you have time.
Okay.
So do you want to move that down? Do you want to page down? Okay. The speed at which you're moving is awesome through this document. I appreciate that. Okay. What do you think?
I'm thinking that we approved some minutes at the last meeting, and in retrospect, doing the minutes, I was unclear what we had approved. Because I don't think there were any minutes for us to.
There weren't-
We
there weren't
approved-
any.
We approved them anyway.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we moved to move them to,
To this one, okay.
yes, so,
Okay, that helps, thank you.
okay, am I allowed to make a motion?
Yes,
Okay, I move that we approve these minutes.
My second.
Okay, vote on that.
okay, Scott,
Yes.
I say yes,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
7-6.
So, come on up.
Okay, I'll kick off. I'm Susie Castroya. I'm with the Emergency Medical Services. And our team Shima is also with EMS. We are the staff for the Medical Reserve Corps. And I want to say that the Medical Reserve Corps, like so many things on the coast, is a small group of a larger part of emergency services. We work closely with David in the key meetings, which Connie attends. She's our liaison for this board. And we all work together to get the best services possible. So the Medical Reserve Corps, as is his name, as is in its name, is, how do I,
Just the hour.
oh, okay, sorry.
And
Are you
yeah,
sure?
we'll have to tell Connie.
Do you wanna share or do you wanna run
Uh,
it? You can run it, I can.
No, we can tell you because you've got the PDF.
Oh, okay, we'll say click.
Yeah, I think it might take time to get.
Okay, what is the Medical Reserve Corps? We are a national group of volunteers organized locally to improve health and safety in our communities. We're a unit that engages volunteers to strengthen public health, improve emergency response capabilities, and build community resilience. We include medical and public health professionals as well as others who are interested in helping out. Click.
Nice.
Why are we needed? The MRC, like a number of things, CERT started in 2002 as well. Post 9/11. And we were organized to channel medical and public health professional volunteers services. What often happens is you have an emergency, you see a shelter, you run in, you go, I'm a chest surgeon, how can I help? And we on the other side of the table would look at you and say, we haven't checked your license. But all that water here needs to be moved over to that shelter over there. So by signing up with the Medical Reserve Corps, we can actually funnel you into the OR and you can do your chest surgeries without a problem, theoretically. So we focus on community health during disasters and other public health emergencies. So COVID was a pandemic and it wasn't a community disaster, it was a worldwide disaster. But MRC deployed and probably gave more injections than any other group of people nationally for the COVID response.
I think it was something like 300,000 hours, volunteer hours through COVID. So it was quite a major response that the MRC nationally gave.
Wow. So what are our roots? We are on the highest level under HSS, the Federal Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response. And when we say we're under them, we actually have meetings with them every other week. We're on Zooms, national Zooms. We talk to people in Oklahoma and Hawaii and all over the country and get best practices, what people are doing to recruit, what people are doing in whatever disaster or emergency they were last deployed in. We get to share all sorts of ideas. We also attend state California Department of Public Health meetings. We go to an annual conference up in Sacramento area where we get to talk to everybody that we talk to. We also talk to them frequently on Zoom, different meetings. And then we are under the county local EMS agency, which is a part of health. So county health. We only deploy if one of these entities has an emergency and it's declared. We do not self-deploy, we do not show up at a football game and jump in to help if somebody falls down and gets hurt. That's not our role. We only deploy through a call down for an emergency.
And so that can be done through the state or local level as well. So if there is a localized emergency and you connect with your EOC that we need medical
You're
support.
not supposed to be using acronyms.
Sorry, Emergency Operations Center, that you need additional support, or you say, talk to David, that we need medical support, he knows the channels to go through. It goes to our EMS agency director or medical health operational area coordinator, who would then deploy us as volunteers. Well, we're not volunteers.
No, they tell us to call in the volunteers.
Yeah. We can probably go next slide. So we talked a bit about how San Mateo County, the Medical Reserve Corps is a national program and it's administered locally. So almost every county in the country has a Medical Reserve Corps. So the San Mateo County one, our mission and vision is similar to what the national mission and vision is, but just, I guess, as a bit of a grounding, I will say that the mission of the San Mateo County MRC is to collaboratively serve in ensuring the health of the public during emergencies and disasters. And the vision is to create a group of clinical and support professionals who are trained, capable, and equipped to deploy efficiently and effectively to provide medical care. We also want to create a unified organizational and command structure. So we ensure that all our volunteers are trained in incident command system training, so that they're able to kind of talk the same language in a disaster to our emergency operations centers and things like that. So there's that unified structure there. And we also want to participate in events locally and reciprocally countywide. So whether that's running a first aid booth, which we're doing at a Menlo Park event for the 4th of July, to tabling at Disaster Preparedness Day and having activities, which we'll be doing this year on August 1st, Saturday. So a couple of shameless plugs. So you can go to the next slide. So the capabilities and activities. So we have a quarterly meeting with our MRC members. This is a meeting where we go over basically what people want out of the MRC. We talk to some of the trainings that we offer. We sometimes have guest speakers, but it's a good opportunity for us to kind of all get together, get to know each other a bit, and then talk through some of the fun activities we've either done or plan to do. And we'll talk a bit about the next one coming up. But then we're also a member of the Region 2 MRC Coordinators Group. So like I said, like Susie was saying, we have this tiered structure where we have federal support, we have state support, we have local support, but we also have regional support. So we have been working with the counties in the Bay Area to kind of share ideas, also standardize resourcing. So if we need support from, let's say, the San Francisco or the Marin,
It's so it's like
But it's not so faster.
So, do we lose the problem? So, I just want to let everyone know that we have it.
I'm back up. So I think I was talking about the regional, region two. So we work closely with the different counties in the area to coordinate services. So like I said, we're working to standardize our resourcing. So if we need additional medical equipment or medical personnel and we don't have it in the area, we can always send a request up to our region for additional support. So really the MRC is well tapped into various parts of our community, but then also at a large scale. So we can get emergency medical support as needed when a disaster strikes, particularly a declared disaster. We also work to ensure that when people, so it is medical and non-medical personnel. So some people have physician's license or RNs, but others don't and just want to volunteer their time or support in a capacity that could be logistics or, you know, a lot of people who are physicians who are doing the work with patients won't have the time to go and run and get stuff. So we always need non-medical people. So we ensure that there's a standardization of training for physicians or medical personnel as well as non-medical personnel. So that would be things like there's a standardization of health and medical based training. So our CPR, stop the bleed, things like that. Some of our medical professionals may not have had an updated first aid or BLS or done stop the bleed in a while. So we ensure those are updated as well as for our non-medical. And then we also have emergency management training, so ICS training, things like that, incident command system, to ensure that there is that unified command, that we're all kind of speaking the same language when we are operating in a disaster, because both medical and non-medical professionals may not have had that training or had it updated in a long time, so that when we are operating, we're speaking the same language, and we also have a set of MRC core competencies that we get our volunteers to complete. Like I said before, we participate in county exercises. The great thing about the Medical Reserve Corps is that we are part of the county, so we get really good opportunities to exercise our skills and to be embedded in some of the county-wide or health-wide exercises. Being part of the emergency medical services means that we're written into their plans, so that they do need to exercise our capabilities in some of the disasters that they do. Last year, we had our medical surge response exercise, which we do every year, and we had MRC built into that. We acted as role players in that scenario, but we're looking to kind of be more embedded in the planning and exercising going forward. And then we have training and events that we run.
That exercise we did was evacuating a skilled nursing facility. And so our MRC group got to play people waiting to be moved by ambulance to another facility. And it was an absolute blast. I know it was training, I know it was serious, but everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves and learned something doing it because it was hands-on. AMR brought in, we had ambulances from San Francisco and Santa Clara County, because it was an emergency medical services exercise. Everybody came together, everybody was communicating. It was the nearest thing to a major event that most of our volunteers have been in.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that we're doing more exercising within our MRC, and to kind of see how a bigger scale exercise takes place, like a full scale exercise is called, was a really great opportunity, especially for our planning in the future, where we do want to do some larger full scale exercises with our MRC as well as other outside stakeholders. And so one of the final points that we're really focusing on as well is maintaining our coastside emergency operation trailer and equipment. So we do have a trailer which is seen in this photo. It's stationed at the Half Moon Bay City lot. And we have some really great equipment in there, some not so great equipment. That's why we're trying to get it updated and cycle things in and out of that. But we do have a large shelter that pops out of there. We have a generator, so we have the capability to set up a potential care site in case of an emergency and the need for additional medical care.
Next.
Oh, sorry, next. Yeah. So I think this part is quite relevant for the MCC as well as I think just the coast is that I don't know if Susie mentioned, but we are Medicaid funded up until the middle of next year, I believe. So one more financial year we have on our Medicaid grant. And the focus of the Medicaid grant is the coast side, which we've kind of defined from Pacifica south until we hit the border of the county from basically the Honda South Skyline all the way
35 west.
Yeah, 35 west until we get to the coast. So that's where we're focusing our energies on recruiting and operations. We are doing stuff around the county. We are a county asset, but we're focusing on the coast side to kind of act as pilot to build up our community. And also it's the largest area of need in terms of being geographically cut off during a disaster and the need for additional medical support. So our focus and current direction is these three pillars, which are volunteer engagement and growth. So really engaging with new stakeholders and community groups across the county, so like yourselves, and then being their local community and engaging with local community, public and private organisations, with the BOAD and COADs, which are the volunteer and community organisations active during disasters. as well as medical associations and educational institutes. So really trying to build our pool of volunteers. So again, shameless plug, if you do know anyone with a medical background or a non-medical background who's interested in joining us, we're super active right now. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming up in the coming months. So if you're interested or you know someone of interest, please share our contact details with them. We'll get to.
And in January of 2025, we had 10 members in the MRC. We're now up to about 50 members, and we're just waiting for another swearing in to expand again.
Yeah. So all our volunteers as
I don't know what that is. It's not on the. It's a hand pad. Okay, that's okay. As long as it wasn't me, I'm like that.
as Susie mentioned, all our volunteers are sworn in as disaster service worker volunteers, which gets them certain, I guess,
Liability protections as well as workers' comp benefits should they be hurt during deployment.
Yeah. And they're all background checked as well, and their licenses are checked on a local and state platform. So we ensure that if people's licenses have lapsed, we know about it. And yeah, that would
Yeah, we do both the
yeah.
California Department of Justice as well as an FBI background check.
Yeah.
So anybody who's touching a patient has been screened.
Sorry, that was a little tangent, but
Yeah, sorry.
back to some of our other pillars is health and emergency response training. So having quarterly trainings, which we've been focusing on. We have one this weekend, Wilderness First Aid. We're having it up in Pacifica. So that'll be fun. And then we have county sponsored events being involved in those exercises and things like we mentioned before. And then MRC preparedness, so maintaining and expanding our response cache, so that trailer, as well as training and making sure that we're ready to go. And a part of that preparedness is also those administrative things, background checks, license checks, things like that. Yeah, and then finally, these are our, well, if you want to get in touch, you have our email through Tommy and we're here, so you can let us know. We have that, it's not quarterly anymore, it's every 2 months, so bi-monthly meeting. Our next one's August 5th. We usually have it at the Half Moon Bay Emergency Operations Centre, which is attached to the Sheriff's Office on Kelly Avenue. And it's hybrid, so if you do want to join and learn more about us, you're welcome to join. And if you want to join the listserv, you can scan the QR code and sign up.
Be on our mailing list.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for my alarm going off, but many of the MRC members in our group are also ham operators. And that was my reminder that the check-in is at 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So, but communications on the coast, as we all know, is a very, very serious thing. And luckily, so many of our members are hams that we can talk from Pacifica to Pescadero with the repeaters that are up right now. So we're pretty well covered for that, so long as everybody shows up. Thank you all for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot. That was awesome. Thank you. So are there any questions from the council? Go ahead, Claire.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about your geographic scope. Are you the only MRC group in the county?
Yes. Counties only usually have one.
And yet you're basically, you have a turf that you described.
We have a Measure K grant for a pilot program to see how quickly we could reinvigorate the MRC since it fell off the spotlight, shall we say, of the county a couple of years back. So the grant is for 3 years, which is up the end of June 27th. But we are expanding. We do have multiple members from over the hill.
Yeah, so we are still in Olive County MRC, but as Susie said, kind of higher reinvigorating on the coast, particularly because of the, I guess, the need identified as well.
Well, and the MRC on the coast was very active up until 2013,
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
somewhere around there, yeah.
Another quick question, have you ever provided at this point any services? Or is it all basically been training?
We do the first aid booth at the Pumpkin Festival last year. We did that. We've done, we've taught CPR with the Red Cross at Menlo High School. We've done a couple of first aid
Yeah,
events.
but no formal disaster declaration or activation in our area. Like a couple of years ago, before we had the Medicaid grant, we were asked to deploy for the storms in Monterey County, I think. But unfortunately, like, we just weren't active enough, and I don't think any of the volunteers were ready to go for that.
We did deploy some during COVID, I believe.
Yeah, during
Yeah.
COVID.
One more quick question. If you did get deployed for some reason, here on the coast, where would you provide services?
It would depend on where the disaster is or where the need is.
Well, what are your options?
Our tent can be put up almost anywhere,
Okay.
and so long as we could get a 4-wheel drive with the trailer in. We would probably choose, I mean, I have my favorite spot, Arjun probably has his favorite spot. David may have a spot that he likes. I like being next to Coastside Clinic. Because they do have some supplies there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, question, what does the coordination look like with the search program? It seems like that might be a good spot to start with, at least like if you're gonna stand up something on the coast side. It seems like a lot of the communities along the coast have their CERT programs and they have their
Yeah.
pop-up.
Are you
Tents.
familiar with Coastside Emergency Action Program or KEEP?
I don't think I've, no.
It's a fabulous program, and we happen to have its program manager right here. It's a once monthly meeting of all the groups that do response and interaction. We get together usually on Zoom, but we're going back to in-person meetings, and we all know each other. We're getting to know each other very well. We're getting to vocalize our concerns, get programs together, and we share information frequently, and we work with CERT. CERT starts at the time of the disaster and checking your own home, right?
Mhm.
Checking on your neighbors. We wait to be deployed. So the MRC is a little different than CERT. CERT also needs to be deployed, but you would start with your own self, your family, your neighbors, and then you get deployed and you go where you're supposed to in CERT. We wait and then we get called to our alternate care site. And it will look like a field first aid station.
Got it. Cause I think that's the piece that's lacking, in my opinion, on the CERT side, is that medical piece of it and the supplies. That's why I think it's important to kind of combine the two a little bit. That's just, my
We work
opinion.
really hard to keep communications open with everybody.
Yeah.
Especially the CERTs.
And
And I have to say nice things about CERTs because David's here.
And I think just quickly, a lot of our MRC volunteers are also CERT. So they have that background in CERT and that understanding that they'll kind of focus on that neighborhood aspect in the initial parts of the disaster. But then as things escalate or as is needed,
Or as we call them.
yeah, or as we deploy or as they kind of see their role of CERT transitioning out to a broader care lens, they can come and put on the MRC vest, basically. So
We say go to your closet and pick the vest that fits you that day.
there's that, you have to look at all five.
Yeah.
And then one more quick question for the folks that are sworn in, are those specifically the medical providers? Is that
No, we swear in all of our volunteers.
all volunteers? Got it.
Workers' comp as well as the liability.
And how many did you say we have on the coast side?
Right now, we have, I think, 28 sworn, but we're waiting to do the fingerprinting on everybody. We just got approval to do fingerprinting on everybody in background checks. And then we have another about 30
Waiting for the next.
waiting for the next swearing in.
Got it. Thank you.
Anything else? No. Molly?
Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you coming and sharing with the community, because I know how important and really appreciate the role that you're playing. So, so the 50 are here then on the coast side. Is that what I understood?
I would say maybe 10 are on the Bayside.
Okay, because of the program that you started to initiate over here, is that? And so what would be like an optimal size of a group in the event of emergency here, given the
Everybody.
I was gonna say, it's a pretty large.
Well, you would want enough people signed up and sworn in so that when you put out the call, people could turn you down and not feel like I'm abandoning my community because somebody at home is sick. You know, you want an overflow of volunteers that are trained so that when you do need them, you have enough.
And is a lot of what you would expect needed in terms of emergency be able to be done by a non-medical professional?
Well, remember, we have to do registration, we have to do triage, we have to do communications, we have to do setup. We have to do, a lot of people can be trained to turn or lift or help someone, help the medical professional. There's a ton of things you can do. We would like to have 80% medical and 20% non-medical. I think that's the MRC goal, basically, but we'll take anybody and train them.
Yeah, I would think, I mean, especially over here, since we don't have a lot of medical facilities open and running, I would suspect it would be really helpful to get the community out and supporting it as much as possible, which is why I also wanted you guys to come up. But that's great. I didn't know you had the Measure K for over here. Yeah, that's it for me. Thanks. Sure.
Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it.
We heard about your brownies.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I was gonna be glad. The questions I had were just a couple simple ones, but is there an age requirement or an education requirement at all?
If you're under 18, you need a parental sign slip.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then is there any like time commitments to it? Is there like a minimum amount you need to volunteer or?
We do ask a question about deployment, you know, would you be willing to be deployed outside of your community? Would you be willing to be deployed greater than, you know, I think it's 4 hours, 8 hours, 25 days.
Okay.
You know, the rest of your life, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Thank you.
the Red Cross.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for them, Kimberly? Okay, she said no. Okay, so I would like to piggyback on a previous statement and say for instance, I am interested. And you don't have to be a doctor, right? You can just be a regular person and you already showed your QR code on how to get information and sign up. And the other thing I'm interested in is what exactly is how much time am I spending for training and meetings?
We would prefer that you attend all our meetings because they're ever so important, like yours
How
are.
often are they? What frequency?
Every other month.
Okay, every other month.
And then there's usually quarterly trainings that
Okay.
might take 4 to 6 hours.
And how far away are they typically, these trainings?
Right now, they're on the coast.
Okay.
So the one this weekend is in San Pedro Valley Park.
Okay,
The last one we had was at Elkis.
so that'd be 4 hours on some weekend? And then,
For a weekday. Some days we do weekday things.
okay, so. Say that again, so that's the quarterly training. And then bi-monthly meetings?
Yes.
Okay,
1.5 hours.
okay, sounds.
So we're talking maybe 12 hours a quarter for
Okay.
the trainings and the meetings.
And you mentioned a commitment distance, you mentioned,
You're allowed to choose how far you'll travel.
okay,
So if there's a disaster in Alameda County,
okay,
are you willing to go that far? And for
Okay.
all of our deployments, you can say no.
okay.
You don't. Yeah,
You're
everything is optional. You're a
So
volunteer.
the farthest is Alameda?
No. The furthest could be New York.
Yeah,
Oh, I
you
see.
can go anywhere in.
All right, because you're
Yeah.
federal.
Yeah.
Got it, okay,
I would say Alaska, but I don't. That would be
Okay.
long.
Yes, that's pretty.
okay. And there's no, if you're not a doctor and and you wanna join, there's no other requirements other than being over 18, right? And
And
you have to pass background check.
yeah,
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate that.
That's great.
Are there any other questions from the,
I just have one.
Go ahead.
So how can we help you guys?
get the word out.
Yeah, and get more volunteers.
Talk to anybody you know that's got medical training,
Yeah.
including mental health. That's for sure. We have. I don't think we have any pediatricians signed up right now on the coast. So if we can focus on, we have 2 pediatric RNs, but we need more. We need more of everything until we have somebody we're turning them away.
Okay. Thank you.
so if there are no other questions, we really appreciate you coming by. And we'll try to spread the word on the need for volunteers for your organization.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
What about
so much.
community?
Public comment.
I don't see any hands up in the public comment, so
Is Sid's hand up?
I don't.
No, that's her
Mouse, just a mouse.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so the next agenda item is. It was asked that we have a discussion on. The proposed LLC for the increase in housing that was. That was explained to us in a previous meeting. I did notice that there are probably. More than 40 lots for sale right now in the Midcoast. So there are 40 lots that could be sold that are empty and would need a permit. So there could be a flood of permits and there could be a flood of growth coming on in the future. So, thanks. So I'm gonna have to leave it at that and open up the discussion on what you think we should do to prepare for the meeting on the 30th. Okay, Kimberly.
If I could say something just to frame this
Definitely.
a little.
Thank you, because I was kind of, I didn't know what to say exactly.
No, that's okay. You're doing fine.
Can't hear you very well
I'll
though.
work on that.
Can you hear me? Is this better? Let's see.
Yes. That's better.
So when I saw this meeting posted, I emailed the supervisor and Director Monowitz right away. And of course, I got no responses because it was a holiday weekend. I appreciated David Cosgrave's response. At the last meeting, we decided, or the meeting before last, we decided that Connie, myself, and Claire would draft a letter to go to the planning department, the board of supervisors, and the coastal commission. And after that meeting, the supervisor sent all of us an email, which we read, assuring us that this would be postponed and that the planning department would go back and work with the MCC on a public meeting and some alternatives to propose in addition to the proposal that they've already put out there. I spoke with the supervisor directly by phone about that. He did assure me that this would happen. So after that, Connie, Claire, and I decided that the draft letter should wait until that occurred. That said, now we have this new circumstance where the meeting has been scheduled without any input from the MCC. And you know, that brings forward whether we want to provide additional comments before this meeting is coming up, or whether we wait for this meeting to occur to then formulate our letter of comment. I think that's an important question. And I also feel that, sorry, I'm a little unfocused. That I'm just looking at my notes. I think it's also hard to know what alternatives, if any, they might be proposing. It's almost a footnote in the announcement. So until we know what those are, it's hard to know what to say that we support in a letter or what we don't support. So I guess for this particular item, what I think we should discuss and hear from the public about what are the things that we want to support or oppose, and are there alternative solutions that we would like to suggest to the planning department and the board of supervisors in lieu of the proposal that's already out there? You know, I don't know what options have been identified. I know that our planning commissioner submitted an alternative proposal. So I think the other question also is any proposal, including the one we've already talked about, temporary or is it permanent? And do we ask for it to expire after 2028, or does it continue? That's another option to consider. So with that, I think I'd like to ask the council to sort of talk about where they are right now, and then possibly go to public comment and then come back for further discussion, if that makes sense to everybody.
I just want to tell you, the Zoom is gonna stop again in 8 minutes.
Oh, no.
Okay, so let's get as much of the council comment in. And I'm just letting the public know that the Zoom might stop again due to unforeseen difficulties. And then we'll relaunch again right back into this. So let's go clockwise. Did you mind if I go clockwise this time?
I might, what I have to say might change things.
Okay, then do it.
Okay, I just talked with Matt Burrows and asked if he was okay with sharing his alternate proposal, and he said if we thought it would be helpful, he was okay with that. He also said that his impression is that planning has not come up with any alternatives yet, and they're still working on it. That's
Okay. So
other than that,
would you like to,
other than that, I'm
would you
fine.
like to share the proposal? Could you put it on the screen?
That's a good question.
Okay.
It's on my phone right now.
Oh, okay. Think about that for a second and let's keep going. Do you have any?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do have a little bit of concern. I know on the coast, like our roots and we always kind of have this like not to say exclusive in any way, but like this kind of like local feeling to it. And what I would be concerned about just having a lot of new properties going, especially if they ended up being like apartments or anything like that, would be that it would start to overcrowd the coast. I'm not against anything. I don't feel like I have all the information or all the knowledge yet, but it's definitely something that's been on my mind as a coastal resident is having you know, some huge population explosion. How are we gonna manage all of that properly? So.
Awesome, thank you. Go ahead, Honey.
I don't really have anything more to add other than I think we're gonna have to wait for the meeting to hear what the proposals are.
Okay.
If there are proposals, so I
Okay.
just don't think it would be prudent to put a letter together until we actually hear
Okay,
what the heck they're proposing.
go ahead, Gus.
That plus, I mean, just this whole proposal to me, you know, as members of the public, we are asked to follow a lot of rules about
Yes.
things. What I see in this proposal is our government saying, oof, this rule here is really inconvenient for us, so we're just gonna rewrite the rules so that we can do what we want. And it bugs me a little that that's kind of how this is sort of being operated. The public doesn't get to hear it that way, so I will wait to hear what happens at this meeting before I.
Okay, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's like, I don't like the rules, this was change them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Gus. Yeah, I think we should probably wait till after we hear what their proposals are.
Okay.
I think some of the stipulations, if anything were to change, kind of what you're mentioning, there should not be any major housing development or apartments like you're mentioning. I think it should be specific to lots, to personal property. And a small amount, if that's a direction that, as, if we want to budge on no growth or a little growth. And not keep it at a 40. I mean, they've already given out like 67 or 71 permits. So I think there's a lot of stipulations that should come along if, depending on what they decide or what direction they're gonna go on the 30th. That's just my thoughts right now.
Okay.
But from the last time we were here, it was pretty much no, we don't want any additional permits. From what I heard, but I am interested in hearing what the community has to say.
Okay, so, do you have anything else to add, Kimberly?
I'm gonna talk again.
Oh, okay, sorry, go ahead, Claire.
I'm sorry, but I would like to know if they will confer with us after the meeting on the 30th, or if that's their final offer, or their final reach out to the community. If they are going to come back and deal with us and confer and negotiate, then I think we can wait. If they're not, if they're just going to go right ahead, then I think we probably should have some statement ready to go.
I agree.
I also have an email from Lenny Roberts. Because I reached out to a few people that knew the history of all this stuff. And asked her from her perspective, what has changed with the infrastructure, what's changed in the way of looking at all this. And I guess I could probably share that as well. I've been really upset with the fact that both of these announcements from planning came out on a Thursday afternoon. As Kimberly was trying to put together, Kimberly and Scott were trying to put together the agenda, which was coming out on Friday. The planning department is closed on Friday, and they know that. They know that we can't get in touch with them to clarify anything or ask for anything. And we have to put out our agenda without any knowledge of what they're doing. So I'm not sure that I trust them to confer with us further after this meeting, because they were supposed to tell us about this meeting ahead of time, which they did not do. So I am not sure what you guys want me to share with you, but Scott and I got our hairs on fire a little bit, and we reached out to some people and tried to put some
Yes.
things together.
So Claire, let me give Dave an opportunity to clarify a statement that we talked about earlier. And that was after the meeting on the 30th, the planning department will come back to us again, and that is.
That is what I was informed
Okay,
By whom?
by Nicholas.
What does he have to do with it?
That's.
Oh, he's the
Yeah,
he's the big guy.
and so I'm definitely gonna go to public comment in a second, but I wanna make sure we get clarity on Claire's comment, because it's gonna change the way we move forward. Are we confident that we will get a second chance after the 30th to comment on their new proposal?
I'm not confident.
I'm also not confident.
I
Okay,
agree.
okay, so that means that we need to prepare for the 30th, if that's what you're saying. If we're not confident we'll get a second chance, then we'll need to prepare for and as we'll assume that the 30th is the final option to.
But you said you got a proposal, you got something.
The District 3 representative of the planning commission has put together his idea of what should happen. He presented it to the planning department. They said they didn't understand it. It seemed to be strange to them. So I don't know how far it's going to go. But that's the only counter proposal that exists at this point. Apparently, the planning department itself has been asked to come up with other options, but from what I understand, they have not yet done so.
And I would also add that we were asked, the supervisor on the call with me said, if we have any suggestions for options, that we should talk with the planning department and submit those to them. So at this juncture, maybe we also see if we come up with any alternatives in this meeting, or someone has any to suggest, we can put those forward prior to that meeting or at that meeting.
Do you think it would be helpful to maybe possibly write a letter with how we are not included and we are asking that we get another shot at whatever recommendations they make? Because if they don't bypass us, or at least it's written down, I don't.
Difficulty we
Recording
had
in
earlier.
progress.
I appreciate your patience.
I have some somewhat general comments.
But we want to hear it. Let us.
That aren't necessarily going to be all that important to the details in the letter. In any letter.
We appreciate that.
And I would be happy to make them now.
Okay, we appreciate that. So when we go to public comment, I'll bring you up. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of not being able to speak. I was just offering to fill the.
Fill the time?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah,
We have to hear everything on public forum, so, but I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I was just, before we
Thank
got
you.
cut off, my suggestion possibly, if we're gonna wait for the letter, or on the 30th, after that, I think maybe between now and then, possibly kind of re-explain how we've been left out of the process, that the things that we have done, and that they're not keeping their end of the bargain. And then kind of request that we are a part of the decision making, and that they should come back here with the alternatives to the original discussion. It's just a thought, just something to kind of let them know that we keep getting bypassed.
So I just want to make, I just want to comment on yours. So that proposal, unless we can hack it out right now, would have to be informal to them, because we wouldn't have a time to see the letter, vote on it and send it before the 30th, right? So that's why we
Unless we
had.
call a special meeting next week.
Yeah.
We could consider that.
Okay, we'll keep that, let's keep that as a consideration and go to public comment. How does that sound?
I'm good with that.
Okay, Anne, we're opening up for public comment. You're first.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Written comments, and then I'll try to wing it at the end if I have a few extra minutes. I
Okay.
am very concerned about the county's proposed increase of 40 units per year to 75. The logic is extremely flawed. It seems to me that the county is trying to fix a problem they created in approving Cypress Point, even though it never met the requirements of AB 1449. Unfortunately, the fix is worse than the problem they created in the first place. The proposal to increase to 75 units a year would be the equivalent of a Cypress Point development every single year. The coast has not upgraded the infrastructure. There still is not a single traffic light in Moss Beach and no health care. The Half Moon Bay Review published on June 15th, 2026, an article titled Study Reveals Coast Side Among the Bay Area's Most Difficult Regions to Evacuate During Wildfire. I would like to quote this study. Researchers found communities with limited road networks face higher risks during fast-moving fires, a challenge shared by much of the San Mateo County coast. The coast side is deemed the most difficult places in the Bay Area to evacuate. The fewer the evacuation routes, the greater the fatalities. The ability to fight fire is compromised with fewer major roadways. Fatality analysis indicates that road egress is a key driver of wildfire fatalities. Cut off from major highways, coastsiders face significant barriers to leaving if a major disaster strikes. The answer to the issue is less building on the Midcoast, not more. The Midcoast cannot handle more Cypress Point developments. The roadways are not safe for the current residents. Cypress Point never should have been approved in the first place, but we now have to deal with that. Senior housing would help somewhat with cars on the road, but more development will only serve to endanger every resident on the Midcoast. Once built, there is no going back. Allowing those who are in line with applications to build should follow the 40 unit per year timeline. I understand it is inconvenient, but the safety of all coastside residents should take priority over the inconvenience of a few. Our lives depend upon it. Please reference the Half Moon Bay Review article in your letter to the Board of Supervisors and let them know that they cannot solve problems they create with life-threatening solutions. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. And if I have another minute or so, I would say, a lot of the things that they do right now, this is all about development. And the next development that they want to do is El Granada for affordable housing. And I can tell you the units will be even more than Cypress Point. I do go to these Board of Supervisors meetings all the time, and they are going to build in El Granada, whether people like it or not. The only thing preventing it is right now are these 40 development permits.
Keep going, Ann.
Did you want me to continue or just stop?
Yeah, give it 30 more seconds.
Okay, well, thank you so very much. So anyway, my point is that when I attend these meetings, a lot of times the planning department, they're planning on building El Granada out. It's just a matter of time. So if you offer any other suggestions to them, they will take it, they will run with it. And believe me, the people who are in line for their permits, they will end up waiting once again. So I just want to make that very clear. So thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you, Ann.
Thanks, Ed.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I was just curious about what the motivation was for this. So I have a theory and it's along Ann's lines. It's the housing element numbers. They're not gonna do El Granada in this cycle. Monowitz wanted to stay on the Bay side. He's got Colma and that's gonna suffice. He didn't want to deal with the Coastal Commission in El Granada. So my theory is that they came up with this other idea. It was kind of clever because at the first point of contact with Barat, the planner, people were appalled that he came up with this plan because people were appalled that they weren't going to be able to build out their full 40 per year, and so he came up with a plan where they could, and then he took all of the 30 per years, and then he came up with another number that we could have more building permits within the next 2 years. And now everybody is concerned about, the traffic, all of the infrastructure and stuff like that. But I think that's what their motivation is. I think it's their workaround to make, so the housing element sort of demands that it's applied throughout the whole county, not just on the Bay side. They want it to be even for the population. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that that's my theory as to why they're doing it. I'm not sure what we do about that, but it is a tough one. Thanks for hearing me.
Thanks, Michelle. Go ahead, Sid.
Okay, I don't have a written thing, but I will, if you'll bear with me, I think the county is much more worried about being sued because just like in Seal Cove, they kept issuing permits because if they don't, it'll be considered a taking. I don't know if you know what that is, but if they don't allow builders to build, that's a taking. And now they have had to slam on the brakes because of the LCP, but that's because they didn't have the foresight to realize that they were going to have 102 building permits when the cap is 40. And if you read the letter where they said they're going to have to slam on the brakes, their build out is 102 permits now. Oh, because they gave out 71 at the end of 2024, and that means they only have 18 permits left and to give out, and they've already given out, I think, 12 or 13 available still. So they're worried. And they said historically they'd only given out usually 30 per year. They didn't even give out the full 40. So this is their workaround, and I think it makes a lot of sense. If they probably won't give out 30 per year. And Scott, to your point, there might be 40 lots for sale, but many are called and few are chosen. I was a realtor for 30 years before I retired. And when I had a lot for sale, you got so many calls on the lot, but not very many people came up and actually wrote offers and closed on the lots. So you see the lots go up for sale and they sit there and sit there and sit there. And not people call and they want to know if they can put a mobile home on it and how long does it take to get permit. They don't know what they're doing. Most of the people that call on those lots, there very few builders are ready to build. You know, they want a flat lot. They don't realize that they don't all come with water and sewer and how much does it cost to do all that. You know, they don't know anything. So a lot of times when they realize they have to put a lot of work into building on it, they walk away. So don't worry about that. The fact there's 40 lots for sale. Anyway, houses for sale too. There's a lot of houses for sale because right now the economy is not that good and the interest rates are going up. So there's a lot more houses for sale now than there used to be. They used to snap them up really fast. They'd be on the market a week and then they'd be pending. So anyway, I don't think I really, oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to say. Last Tuesday, this week, they raised the, I don't know if you guys know about the parks mitigation fee, but every year they're required to analyze it and raise it. And the parks mitigation fee is a fund that sits interest bearing account at the county. And every time somebody remodels or builds new construction, with the exception, of course, of affordable housing, they have to contribute a portion of the money that they spend on permits to the county to build parks. I mean, to contribute to parks mitigation. And then we can do things with that money, such as build.
Sid, you gotta wrap it up.
Well, I just want to finish this comment. That money goes to build items in our parks here on the Midcoast. And I was going to suggest that they could build the coastal trail through. They haven't done it forever. It's a plan. Greg knows about it. The linear trail from
Thanks, Sid. Thanks, Sid.
What?
I said, thank you. So there's a couple more people to make comments. So I appreciate that, Sid. So go ahead, Dan. Okay, Dan, you're on mute.
Okay. First of all, I want to say clearly that I'm against the change. I agree with what Ann said. Yeah, there's only this needs to sink into everybody. There's only 3 fire doors, you know, out of this area. Highway 1 North, Highway 1 South, and 92 East. That's it. Density, direction has been the norm all over the county, all over the state. You know, they've already approved Cypress Cove, or Cypress Point, you know, against the community's wishes. All the concerns that the community brought up were just, you know, just jettisoned, ignored. You know, they've already pushed for the rezoning in El Granada school district property. So we know for a fact that that's what they want to do. They want to just push everybody aside and do density at any cost. And The profiteers are investors. Um, you know, Blackstone subsidiaries, Wall Street. They have no interest in the consequences that they would leave behind to the community. And all of this pivots on the RANA numbers. And I've said it, the board of supervisors have said it, the housing department, Sacramento, California Housing Department projected a certain amount of growth. The state finance department audited that formulation of their how they got to those numbers, and they failed. They failed the audit. So the state finance department did the audit, and it failed. So these numbers are to be questioned and not accepted. And so, you know, this change will obviously help that whole motion of just pushing people out of the way and getting what these investors want to do is create wealth, build into the sky. I have no problem with the build out of the normal lots for the local builders. I have no problem with that, but you know, they're making this complicated. They're making it confusing,
Thanks, Kimberly.
and you know, it's going to be a loss for the community, a loss for the local builders. That'll be a win for the developers and the Wall Street investors. So I'm against this, and I hope that, you know, you can come up with some language to basically express, you know, this is not a good thing for the local coastside community.
Thanks, Dan. So I'd like to recognize Greg and then, of course, Carl. We have one more person in the room after Greg. Uh-oh, Greg's stuck.
Greg's frozen. Much like Carl. Yeah, Carl.
So Greg, I think your computer might be stuck at the moment. So Carl, when Greg get that figured out? And then Carl, you want to come up and make a comment? Thank you. I don't believe this is our connectivity issue, right? This is something
Everybody else
Greg
is
has an
okay.
issue.
Yeah.
Can someone type a message to Greg saying you have a problem? Sure. And we'll come back to you right after Carl. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Carl.
Just can't get my glasses on. Getting old is no fun. They're always close. Yeah.
So we're the alternative, right?
Exactly.
I'm among a group or a group of people, category of people that's been called no growthers in a very pejorative way since forever. Although we tried to talk about the real world, real numbers, reality, and get overweighed by the financial crowd, the greed seeds, I call them on the coast side instead of hayseeds. The well-known British economist Kenneth E. Boulding said, anyone who believes exponential growth can go on forever in a finite world is either a madman or an economist. Among the madmen, we include planners, our county planners. 1% sounds very reasonable, just 1%, that's not much. Half Moon Bay fell for this a number of years ago in making their planning for the future. But think about it versus a coast side that already seems very full. 1% means a doubling time of 69 and 2/3 years. That means twice as much capacity of everything to this point, twice as much capacity of everything to this point needs to be created with a 1% growth rate. Housing, roads, water, food, energy, wastewater handling, healthcare, emergency services, and on and on. We have big debates about what's going on now. How are we going to do twice as much of everything if we accepted these ideas of a percentage growth rate? And by a percentage growth rate, any percentage growth rate is an exponential growth rate. So that's just flat fact. The 40 cap does not mean unused permits from past years are banked for the future. And think about this 40 cap that we've had. We haven't lived up to more than 30 or so, 20 some odd, many years. Because we haven't used those extra permits, has traffic gotten better? Have all of our infrastructure things gotten better? No, they've gotten worse with less than 40. So 40 as a cap has been too much for the quality of life for everybody. And I mean from the most people most needing affordable on up. Think about that when they talk about 75 a year. That's going to be like 2 or 3% growth rate. What's that going to be high? You can quickly look up doubling time calculator on your computer if you want to, but that's going to be a lot less than 69 and 2/3 years. Going to have, where is that all the capacity for that going to come from? Ever since the LCP went in, or the Coastal Act went in, the Coastal Act was the result of a statewide initiative where people voted in Prop 20 that demanded that the state legislature do what it had refused to do for many years, which was to create a coastal zone and a coastal commission to manage that coastal zone. And it had a lot to do with the idea of takings. People who had land that they wanted to build on, people who had land that they wanted to profit from, were suddenly found themselves being restricted by this new law that tried to keep coastal development to what the coastal capacity could be, to what could be sustained. And frankly, even the Coastal Act was way over generous as to what could be accommodated in the future. But here's how I look at bare land without permits. When you buy bare land without permits, you buy what my old real estate prof of 60 or so years ago said, it's an alligator. It eats your money. You have to pay taxes on it. You sometimes have to pay special service district fees and so forth on it. But if you don't have permits and somehow that land is being restricted by very reasonable considerations that what would go on that land is not sustainable, you aren't taking anything from anybody. You're not taking away what they bought. If the land did have permits and everything on it, then you might be doing a taking. You're taking away something of economic value. They've gone around and around in lawsuits on this. And most of the time, the people who claim a taking have lost. Okay, that's what I have.
Thank you, Carl. That was awesome. Appreciate it. All right, Greg, you have the final say.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Take your video
Okay.
off, maybe.
Dan and Carl, it appears they have said some of what I was going to say. The key point was the infrastructure time to invest. And
Shut your video off.
Hey, Greg, hold on a second.
Shut your video off because you're.
Your bandwidth is terrible, so if you turn your video off, we can hear you better, I think.
Can you hear now?
Is he still there?
He took himself out altogether.
We'll wait for, okay, so we'll wait for Greg to come on again. After Greg,
He's calling me. Let me put him on speaker.
that'd be great. That'd be great.
What? Just send a voice.
Hey, Greg, you there? You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
So you're gonna hold me up to a microphone so that I can be heard?
I think so. Yep.
We got a thumbs up, Greg.
You can all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the point of that limit was to allow the infrastructure time to adjust. And anybody who's read the stormwater report knows about the sewer spills, knows what happened with the evacuation on December 6, 2024, knows that the infrastructure on the coast side has not adjusted to the population that we already have. We have passed a tipping point. And I suggest that the MCC should marshal the evidence base for this. Do it for you. Work with whatever subgroup you want. And we should do that in advance because I think we're going to have to present that to the Coastal Commission as well as the Planning Commission. It's just clear we passed the tipping point, and that means the cost of additional development is going to be astronomical. How much more road capacity can you add to add these people? Keep in mind that we have not seen the impact of Cypress Point, and those of us who wrote that stormwater report and the EIR response on this Cypress Point know it's going to flood the highway. So before any more building is done, any changes are made to the LCP, we have to see how the infrastructure adjusts after Cypress Point. It's going to be another disaster. And then finally, I have some confidential information that I don't want to say in a public meeting. If you guys assign 2 or 3 people on a working group, please call me and I'll update you with what I've learned. No, did everybody hear all that?
Got it. Yes,
Yep.
Greg, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I could go on for hours.
I've written hundreds of pages on this stuff. So, call me.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, I don't see any other public comments regarding this agenda item. Would you like to, would the council, with Kimberly's approval, like to spend the next 10 minutes deciding if we're going to do something, and if it is, what we plan on doing before the June 30th meeting?
Sid's hand is raised.
Okay, go ahead, Sid.
You did cut me off before. Anne made the point that she made it seem like they were proposing 75 units. And just to be clear, they're not proposing 75 units at this time. And I think one thing, you guys, if you need a bargaining chip, I would definitely make it really clear that you don't want them to upzone those El Granada parcels for the CUSD surplus parcels. That's really crazy town. So that would be one thing I would suggest. But really clearly too, it's not like Dan was saying, it's not BlackRock or any big developers that are these are small little lot owners that are coming to MWSD asking for individual permits that are they're the people that had the brakes slammed on them because of Midpen, and they're the ones that are hurting now because of this permit moratorium, and I feel sorry for them. So that's who they're doing the look back for, the extra permits to be released little by little, not all in one big chunk. That's all I wanted to say. And just to the other point, not only will Granada Sanitary District and Montero not get any income because of no permits coming forth, the county won't get any income either. So that's putting, nobody will get any income as long as no permits are being given out, besides the parks mitigation fee. And I was struggling to say they have long range goal to put the I forgot the word again. It's a trail that goes through along the bypass. It's on the bypass was supposed to be a trail, and they always have said they would put the trail in, but they've never done it because the parks, it's supposed to be planned by planning, and they never have done it. But they could use parks mitigation fee to make that trail plan, and yet now they've never done it, but they could, because now planning won't have anything to plan for if this thing doesn't go through. So they could use the parks mitigation fee to make the trail plan for the trail I'm trying to talk about. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Sid. So do we need to reboot?
10 minutes.
Okay, okay, Kimberly, should we take the next 10 minutes? We're gonna have to reboot one more time. Should we take the next 10 minutes to try to clarify what we're gonna do in the next couple weeks? Or
Yeah,
one week?
I mean, yeah, we definitely need to do that. And we need a plan and, I think at this point, we kind of do have to operate on the idea that they're gonna be pushing the original proposal that they came up with, because we haven't seen any alternatives. Doesn't sound like there are any. And we need to propose some perhaps, but I think our response has to sort of deal with what we know. Sorry, I don't have a lot more to add.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So I tried to research this week what the criteria was that created the cap at 40. And that it was infrastructure, mostly transportation, but I could not find like definitive metrics that were used. And how they determined the 40 cap, right? And then they started this Connect the Coast side and these initiatives for. But
Connie, it's in the Coastal Commission's report. Did you read that?
I didn't see it in there, no.
I brought this up at the last meeting we discussed this at. So the Coastal Commission's report, when this went to the Coastal Commission for approval, it lays out all of the issues very clearly.
Yeah, it laid the issues, but was there specific metrics on how the cap was determined in terms of evacuation? Because I couldn't find that, like Greg is saying, right? There weren't specifics on what would the metric that you would use to determine whether the cap can be raised? There's got to be some kind of criteria. It's not just here's infrastructure problems, so we get that.
There were criteria used, and we're just going to have to go back and look at that, because as I understand it, it was based on Half Moon Bay's 1% growth rate as well. So, that's another element that we would need to look at. And I don't know if Half Moon Bay's growth rate is still at 1%. But I know that those arguments were laid out clearly in the Coastal Commission report and the attendant supporting materials. So I think most of the answers are there.
Again, I couldn't, but
Yeah, it had been 125 for a long time, the Midcoast. And then to a couple of LCP revisions, it seemed very generous for the non-growthers to lower it down to another number. And so it ended up at 40 eventually.
Because of pressure.
Would have been even more ridiculous.
because of pressure, you mean? Because of the growth pressure?
Developers pretty own the county.
That's me, how did the number get dropped? Really, that's all.
So-
That's the thing that
Yeah.
Bunny Roberts sent me is the background on that, which I can't necessarily quote her at length at this point, but apparently a lot of things were informal and not very codified at that point when they had 125. And they felt like they needed to codify things, and that there were gross deficiencies in infrastructure here, but they were brought basically to the current level by 2013, when the actual limit now was codified. And
What was brought to the level? I'm not following what you're saying.
Pardon me? Like, for example, the water supplies were basically stabilized before 2013. So that wasn't a factor in saying we can't go very high on development. But if it's okay with Lenny, I'll share what she sent me, but I
So-
should probably check with her first.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to be clear that the local coastal plan is required by the Coastal Commission, and that drove the establishment of the cap. And as Chris Johnson said at the last time we discussed this, this was a long process with public input and multi-stakeholders to arrive at that cap. It was not arbitrary, it was not quick. It was well thought out and it involved a lot of people. So this was not something that just appeared out of nowhere. The LCP, again, is a requirement of the Coastal Commission, which is why it's there. We have to have an approved LCP legally on file with the Coastal Commission. And so I really think you need to do your homework. We need to do our homework and go back to look at that document to see how this unfolded and what the criteria were that were pointed to arrive at that cap.
Didn't Dave
Wendy
talk
knows
about
this
this the
too.
last meeting? Did you talk about it? That wasn't you, it was somebody else.
Okay, so as an action item, so say for instance, right now we're just brainstorming, we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. So if we read the documents and understand where they came up with this, with the cap of 40, and a number of us attend the meeting on the 30th, we can say, hey, listen, here's what the Coastal Commission said. They came up with the number of 40 due to whatever factors that we'll see in the report. None of that has changed since 2013. So why should the growth rate be increased from the 2013 number, or the unused permits that they are coming up with from 2013 be implemented immediately? That can be one action item that we can go, and so it can be something we can do at the meeting on the 30th. If we don't think we have what we need to write a letter to the planning commission.
I think we should consider a special meeting.
Okay, consider a special meeting, okay. We'll put that, I'll put that as a number 2, consider a special meeting.
By the way, apparently Half Moon Bay is thinking of going back and taking unused allocations and using them now too.
Okay.
Does the LCP, because I haven't read it, does it talk about banked?
No,
It doesn't, so that's not really a thing
It's
as
not a
far as the
thing.
LCP, so they're trying to add the bank
Right.
into it. Okay, got it.
Okay. So what do we need to vote on having a meeting next Wednesday?
we should decide what we're gonna do at that meeting.
Okay, all right.
What Wednesday is after the.
It's next Tuesday.
The meeting is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Oh, shit, I thought it was Friday.
Oh, meeting is Tuesday.
Meeting is Tuesday.
I
Okay.
want
If
to
we have a
go,
special meeting, it would have to be probably
Friday.
either Sunday or Monday.
Should we, okay, how does everyone feel about, okay, I'm gonna defer to Kimberly, or I'm gonna say, do we want to have another meeting? Is that, can we,
What exactly would we be doing in that meeting?
okay,
let's get Kimberly's opinion.
okay, Kimberly, should we have another meeting?
I mean, this is a good question. I've been struggling with this since my conversation with the supervisor. So, I mean, obviously that's going to be quick. And what is our capacity to come up with something for that meeting that's going to be helpful? I'm not sure. I'm not operating on all cylinders right now. Some of you know my father passed away, so I'm a little unfocused. So I in an ideal world, we would meet before this meeting and have comments and, suggestions prepared. Whether we have the capacity to do that, I don't know.
What if we get back to either the original group that was gonna write a letter or another group and have that group write a letter and have a special meeting on Monday and see if we approve it?
I'm okay with that. So it would, so to answer Gus's question, the subgroup has got to come up with something. Ah, shit, do we have enough time to post a public meeting?
But what is in the letter?
Doesn't have the same.
Is it a
A
recommendation?
special meeting can be posted.
And that I looked it up again, policy 2.53, about traffic mitigation,
Think
but
we're
I don't
back.
know whether anything's ever been done for it. So to me, the question is,
So-
have you met any of the criteria that would?
Can we say that none of the criteria have been met?
I can't say it, but I don't know if they can. I don't know what, I have to go back to the original
Okay,
documents,
if
right?
I think we're back again.
They should have to do that. They should have to go back
We-
and say.
okay,
I
so
think they should have to give whatever the proposals are, whatever the changes are, they should bring that to us. I feel like if we were to put something in the letter to create exceptions. We are now putting ourselves out there in agreement with those exceptions. That's why I don't like us giving the alternatives, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let them to bring to us the alternatives, then we could decide yes or no if we're in agreement or not. Cause I don't think you understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't feel comfortable saying, yeah, we would agree to X, Y, and Z.
Okay,
Cause then it's kind of like solidified that this is what we agree to.
okay, so if we all re-review the document, we show up on Tuesday, they give us an alternate plan. That will then, we could through email say we need an emergency meeting to discuss the new proposal they've given to us.
But we don't have any guarantee that they're not gonna just take whatever they come up with and run. We don't know that they're gonna bring it back to us.
But that's okay. It's not okay, but we have an alternative.
And
We can have the meeting, we can write the letter, we can send it to whoever we need to send it to before the county supervisors vote on it.
I think the other suggestion that I had was to write the letter about keeping us informed, which I think would spark the special meeting. If that's the direction we want to go. I think Kimberly has her hand up.
Sorry, Kimberly, go ahead.
How many of us are available to attend the planning meeting?
I'll go. Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Is that everybody?
I may not be able to.
I'll come get you.
What time is the meeting?
5 of us.
Why you-
Possibly one not.
I mean, I get there, I have Dream Giants practice, I'm coaching, but I get there afterwards.
So I think it's going to be really important to provide input at this meeting, whether we're prepared or not, because they're going to take that input as formal. And I think somebody said, it's not guaranteed they're going to receive any input from us after that. As for the public record. So the next opportunity may be when they present this to the Board of Supervisors.
Which won't be until August.
Yeah, so we
Correct.
got some
Yeah.
time.
You do have time.
So as an action item, so I'm trying to get action items here. Review the document, show up at the meeting.
The document, which one is this?
I think Connie's referencing that.
It's it's considered LCP policy 2.53. Just trying to read, but that's the last I could find on it.
Does that sound accurate to you, Kimberly? LCP 2.53?
It's whatever I wrote in the agenda.
Okay. Oh, no, that's the current one. We're talking about the previous LCP.
The current LCP, you mean an LCP before the one we have now?
Whatever they had
LCP
used.
currently in the active current LCP is the LCP. There's nothing previous to that other than what's currently active.
And so they're
that makes a
proposing
difference.
to change it, just to be clear, they're proposing to change the LCP.
Correct. They're changing
Okay,
the
that's what I thought.
current, it's an amendment to the current LCP that's in place.
Okay.
What I'm saying is it said that under the LCP policy 2.53, the county was required to create a comprehensive transportation management plan to address the cumulative transportation impacts of development on the Midcoast. Policy was adopted as part of the 2012 Midcoast LCP update. Just saying, what happened to that? Did they actually come up with a plan? Was the transportation study done? What's
Yeah.
happening with it?
Yeah, it was.
And has anything?
It was
happened since the
kind
study
of
was
like
done?
no point to it.
There was no point to it.
It didn't address anything that was actually happening on the coast side.
Yeah, that's what all this Connect the Coast Side bogey roll was all about. But they didn't increase the capacity of anything.
Well, that's what I think we need them to say.
Mm-hmm.
They, did they do anything with that plan? And if the answer is no, then why would we move the cap?
Well, that's what Barat said when he came here. He pointed to that particular work and said, "We did it. It's good. It's done. It's good."
At that point, I think we need to disagree with him. That's what, again, we can, if that's what they say, we can mention, we can have our objection to it on the 30th meeting on the 30th. And then if their response to us is inappropriate, then we can we'll have an opportunity to write a letter before the Board of Supervisors votes on this.
But I guess the idea would be that they have to come back to us to give us a proposal first before they go to the Board of Supervisors. I think that's where we get our say.
Okay.
They shouldn't bypass us and go straight to the Board of Supervisors after the meeting on the 30th. Whatever they propose, it should come back here so we could have our opinion.
So at the meeting, if we get up and make a public comment statement, I would say that we do it as an MCC member as opposed to if this is okay with Kimberly, as opposed to being just a person from the community. And that may hold more weight in this situation.
That's complicated.
All right, never mind then.
So first, no, let's just tease this out because first going back to David's point, David, I think on the face of it, you're right. Ideally, that's what we would want to happen. But I'm not sure that that's what will happen because very likely they will go ahead and agendize this at the Board of Supervisors and then come to us just as they did with the Planning Commission meeting previously.
Yeah.
We can't control that. So, if we're all at the meeting, I think it's safest to comment as an individual, not representing the MCC because we haven't flushed out actually what we want to say as a council.
I agree with you. I was just making, that just came to my mind. I agree with you.
I mean, I think we're all kind of on the same plane on this, but some of us have various, different opinions about parts of it, and so there's going to be variation. And that's okay. I just think we're going to need to speak as individuals.
Okay. And we'll have an opportunity to do that, I hope.
I mean,
Way this is
the
done.
alternative to that is to prepare something in advance that we do agree on, that we would be prepared for somebody to give at the meeting.
Is that something that we can do if we did this special meeting on Monday? Is something we could agree to and write out?
Yes, in theory.
Yeah, a statement from the MCC. I think we can do that. We'll have Gus read it.
Stating what again, going back, this, what is gonna be in this? In the letter?
I mean, we could have one statement that says
Come back.
capacity has not been increased. The
I
LCP,
don't know that that's true.
let's say it anyway. I don't see any increased capacity. There's still a 2-lane road out there.
Well, there'll always be a 2-lane road out there.
Okay,
But-
then they'll never be able to
Did
increase
they expand the
capacity.
bus or shuttle service? That's part of the plan. Did they do any demand management planning?
I don't even know what that means.
We still don't have
I'm
rides
just
plus.
saying, you know, you can't, I don't
Okay,
just saying.
okay, we still don't have, so we still don't have rides plus to Montera.
Was that part of the plan?
I don't know.
It would help
I know,
a little bit.
I agree.
It says that we're limited to 40 units each calendar year until Roman numeral 1, a comprehensive transportation management plan as described in policy 2.53 is incorporated into the LCP.
Yeah.
Is there a transportation management plan incorporated into the LCP?
There was, well, I don't know if it was included in the LCP.
That's.
They presented us with one, but that was one where we get carpools and ride share lots and stuff, which is irrelevant.
But, well, if it's not incorporated into the LCP, then they haven't met that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
Can we go with that?
Roman numeral 2 is facilities to adequately contain stormwater infiltration and inflow that exceed the existing intertie pipeline system capacity during storm events and peak flows have been constructed, and sufficient evidence has been presented that IPS capacity is adequate to avoid sewage overflows.
So what
I'm
you're,
pretty sure Greg would say that's not been done.
what you're looking at right now, can you send that out to everybody?
Yeah, it's on the MCC's website. But yes, I mean,
That'd be good. You can just pound us with that in case.
What's it under on the website, under what's
what's,
planning,
if we go to.
under the planning heading?
I think that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, planning and then local coastal program, and then there's a hyperlink to the actual,
So I think we have to come
to
together.
the actual
for that.
LCP, and so I'm on the county's website,
Okay,
looking at the actual LCP.
okay, our goal, again, right now is to decide what to do before Tuesday. Do we need to have a special meeting to write a letter to spell this out? And send it and have it prepared to send? Or can we say in that meeting on Tuesday, you have not met the requirements that Gus just read to us with respect to transportation, stormwater, et cetera?
I think it's a stronger statement. If we come to that meeting with a prepared statement that we read.
Does everybody agree with that?
I do.
Okay,
Okay, so if we all agree with that, then we have to come up with said statement, so.
Yes.
What's the working group that's gonna come up with said statement over the weekend, so that we can. Put it in front of this council on Monday night, I guess, so that would have to be.
so we need a working group.
The original working group was me, Connie, and Kimberly, but I don't know if that's still the best group or not.
Is that,
So that
Go
is
ahead,
the
Kim.
working group, but unfortunately, because of conversations that occurred with Scott, that Connie, this is why I haven't been in touch with you, because the group grew without it wasn't supposed to, so I'm not
Okay,
sure
let's-
what to do at this point.
okay, so let's reform a group.
Violated.
I know, I'm in trouble again. So let's make a new group starting now that will do this letter. So can some of the original members want to do this for a special meeting on Monday? Have it ready for a special meeting on Monday? I'm
So
asking that.
I already started a draft.
Okay,
Okay, so it sounds like Kimberly should definitely be on the group.
okay. So Kimberly, does your draft talk about what Gus just talked about?
It does.
Okay,
Needs to be fleshed out more. Gus, do you want to be part of this group?
Sure.
All right. So the group will be Kimberly and Gus and Claire? Okay.
I don't know, I'm just saying, I don't know. I do have, I'm just looking at Lenny's thing right now.
But you have insight into
Yes,
this.
she might be good, Claire.
So if I were to, so if you three are in agreement that maybe we can have something for Monday, let's get together here on Monday.
And I'd like to ask if Connie's comfortable with that.
Connie,
Yeah, I'll wait to see what you got, as long as we go based on what was, these policy recommendations, that's all I'm saying. We have detailed facts to go in with. I don't just want it to be a statement that we don't want growth. or whatever.
absolutely, I
Just as
agree
long
with
as it's
you.
fact-based, I'm good with
Yeah,
that.
and because a contract was made,
Well, that's.
right? This was a contract for growth. If you want more, you have to do this. You haven't done this. You're breaking the contract, right?
I haven't read the full thing, so I don't know, but I'm just saying, that's all I'm asking, that we go and look at what the details.
I think that would be great. All right, so let's, I would love to get closure on this. So we have a working group. And so we'll schedule a meeting with one item on it, and that's to review the letter.
Yeah.
And should we say 7 o'clock on Monday? 7 o'clock on Monday? However you get here is fine, right?
Has to be 4 people in the room.
Okay, at least four, okay, with 4 people in the room. I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay, we got 2. I'm picking you up. I'm coming to get you.
I can hear.
You can? Okay. Can someone remind me at 4 o'clock? No, 7 o'clock on Monday, right?
Yes, 7 o'clock on Monday.
Okay, do we need to vote on this, or are we just saying we're doing it?
So wait, how many people can be there on Monday?
Well, we have 4 in the room at
Yes,
least.
4 at least.
Okay,
Can I make a suggestion, Scott?
Yes, of course.
Okay, go on the county website and look at the letter of their announcement for the meeting and just go down that announcement and use it as bullet points. And that way you'll know what they're going to present. And that way you can craft your letter based on what you know they're going to present and see if you can, make any counters to what they're going to present that way.
Okay,
Thanks.
we'll do homework. Thanks, Sid.
Sure.
Okay, I don't believe we have to vote on any of this. Do we? I don't think so. Okay. We know what we need to do. So I would like to close that item. Can we close? Are you okay with us closing this, Kimberly? We have an action item.
sure.
Okay. All right, so that's done. We're gonna we'll have closure on that, and I'm happy with that. I think it sounds great. Okay, so can we move on to the next one, you think? Move to the next agenda item? Okay, so we have do we have any updates on the stakeholder meeting?
So I think
Go ahead.
I'm the last person who talked with the facilitator. And again, my apologies to Connie, because I had to leave quickly. I couldn't coordinate these things. So I'm not sure Scott, what you reported at the last meeting. I think you said you reported what I spoke with you about.
Yes.
Essentially I spoke with Charles to see if he could actually come to our meeting and give a report, and he wasn't able to.
Okay.
Something else, but I still like to have him come to a meeting. Currently, my understanding is that he is working to get the subgroup together. He's been in touch with Jasneet from the Office of Sustainability, and they are working to convene the subgroup and to plan the agenda for the proposed July meeting, which would be the next quarterly meeting for the entire group. This still falls within the scope conceivably of our original contract. And I asked him to look at the contract to see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted. And come talk to us about that so that we could understand if we need to amend it or not.
Okay.
So that was the last conversation I had with him, and we received an invitation from Just Neat. So things are moving. We don't have a date yet for the July meeting, but I expect that to come soon.
All right, thank you.
Question?
Go ahead.
Is this meeting?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I have to fix this.
You're fixed.
Am I fixed?
You're fixed.
Okay. There's two meetings. I'm not sure which is which. One was the meeting with the whole big group and one was the meeting with like the subgroup. And
So-
is that correct?
That's correct. So the subgroup is organizing the agenda for the main meeting. And
Okay.
And I also failed to mention that one of the things he proposed is that within that agenda, there would be a breakout group who would discuss directly the parking issue.
Okay. You know, he could give us some kind of report if he's been doing anything.
I have asked for a written report. He was on his way out to an activity that he participates in, so he wasn't able to draft and give that report at the previous meeting.
I'm not happy.
I'm concerned too, and I plan to talk with him again this week.
Yeah, I would also suggest, I mean, the scope of his work was to facilitate an interaction with these stakeholders to try to see if we can't resolve or, you know, try to find some alternatives for parking or things like that. And so I'm not sure what he's doing anymore other than helping to put a meeting together. So I don't know what his deliverables are anymore, and I don't know whether, you know, is that worth $5,000 that he's putting together a meeting that maybe some group could do without him. Like, what is his deliverable now to us?
That's a good question.
And are we doing the 2-part deliverable or
No, it's not anymore because
it's all one?
the scope was that he was gonna, reach out to the couple agencies and see how they felt about it and then try to facilitate the meeting and then facilitate in terms of coming up with alternatives based on the projects, right? So I'm not sure what he's doing now, that's why.
Yeah, it's not.
So
clear.
when we as a group spoke about this last, I thought we were kind of in agreement that this had gone to the next level because the original goal was accomplished. So now it's encourage better communication and collaboration between all the stakeholders on an ongoing basis. The parking issue is thorny because the Coastal Commission already approved that plan, and I'm not sure that there's any way to reverse that, although they did say that we could continue talking with them about it. So maybe part of the next step is that a subgroup of people can have a conversation with the assigned people to this can have a conversation with the Coastal Commission staff about where this stands and what potentially could change. But within the quarterly meetings, I'm not sure I'm not sure how if we can reopen that because that decision was made, the official decision was made.
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. I'm not suggesting, reopening that issue. I'm just saying that was our point. And you talked about that, as a facilitator, some people were interested in being a facilitator, but I'm just suggesting, is it worth the $5,000 for him just to hold these meetings? And then is he gonna facilitate or are other people gonna help support? Remember we talked about that? Is that?
So
What's that deliverable?
here's a solution. We could say to him, due to the changing nature of what happened, could we have an invoice of his work. And I would say, hey, I did this amount of hours in this, and we could be prepared to receive the invoice, pay him, and then put his services on pause or move forward. Is that something we would like to ask for?
So he does plan to, my understanding was that he does plan to facilitate the next meeting.
But he didn't. the first
Really,
one,
I
right?
can invite him to our next meeting, which would be the first July meeting, and have him answer all the questions.
Well,
I don't think any of us can answer these questions, and he really
Yeah.
does need to show up at a meeting and talk to us.
But it's really, is the group agreeing that he's facilitating? You're gonna be the facilitator, because that's not what happened, the original, the meeting happened without, with the Harbor District or Caltrans, whatever, driving that meeting essentially, so. What happens? They go back in a meeting and then they're driving the meeting again, right? Because they haven't all agreed to him being the facilitator, have they?
I
I
thought
thought
they-
that wasn't, that I thought that they were in agreement. That's why
Yeah.
he's helping the subgroup to create the agenda for the meeting.
Yeah,
I didn't see the, okay.
Well, I would, okay, instead of having him give us an invoice, could we have him give us an update at the next meeting?
Which will result in an.
Would that make it, would that help out?
I
Okay,
think that's important, and I'm
Okay.
happy to ask him, and Connie, I'm happy to, we can coordinate a conversation to just go over this with him.
okay,
He really should do something. If he can't be here in person, he needs to give us a written report,
absolutely. Yes,
along with the bill if he wants to.
I hope he'll you for the report.
yes.
Oh, you think it might be
Oh, he
a
will.
bad idea?
Oh, no,
Okay.
I'm just saying that's part of he'll be billed.
So before we close this item, I'm pushing for that. I see Dan's hand up.
So remember, the original contract that we agreed to was in 2 phases, so it's paid in 2 parts.
The parts have changed, yeah.
Okay. And so if he comes at our next meeting, we can ask him what he thinks the second part will be and how he would execute on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Go ahead,
think
Dan.
that's-
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I feel a bit confused. Overall, they, your council has been moving forward to set up a stakeholders meeting. I understand that, and, complicated process and still kind of moving forward with it. But I heard tonight that, stakeholder, or no, I'm sorry, the facilitator is expected to come up with some alternatives. And, I'm not sure the MCC's ideas of alternatives, if that was ever discussed. And at the same time, the Harbor District and the Coastal Commission seem to be moving forward with their C4 lot, which, it's the name of the project has changed 4 or 5 times, I think. But it seems to be moving forward, and I'm wondering, sounds like there's a kind of a two-prong approach here. One is to get the stakeholders together, but it looks like it's going to be late. Maybe you can enlighten me on, like, kind of the broader plan to make the best for the community on this complicated issue. Can anybody enlighten me on that a little bit?
I'm not sure what you're asking, Dan.
Well,
Sorry.
okay, 2 things. Did I hear correctly that there was some expectation that the facilitator was going to be making some suggestions of alternatives, or alternatives to parking, or alternatives to framing the meeting?
The facilitator is helping to construct an agenda for the meeting and then would facilitate the meeting.
Okay,
The meeting is focused on just better communication and collaboration generally. And then the parking issue would be a break, from what I understand, the parking issue would be a breakout conversation to try to get some sort of, I don't know, not closure, but to get a better understanding of that and where, where things might change or to help repair relationships. I'm actually not sure. I haven't seen that part yet. Because the parking thing has already been signed off on by the Coastal Commission, we don't have any leverage on that anymore. So I'm not sure what we can do to influence that at this point, except to go through this process and then have a conversation with Coastal Commission staff.
Well, there could be a statement potentially on the on that decision.
That's correct.
Okay, that's one thing. And then I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the planned meeting evolves.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Can I close this item, Kimberly?
Well, you're facilitating, so you don't have to ask me, but one thing I'd just like to add based on Dan's comment is that there still is, the MCC can still issue a statement on that decision. And if we think that we should, then perhaps that's something we should do.
Okay.
I don't know how people feel about that.
We just have him come with a report. Let's see what's.
Well, if he comes and give us a report,
Let's see what's up.
let's see, we can make a decision at that point. How does that sound?
After he'll have met with the subgroup by then, right? So that would be.
Okay. So let's get him to the next meeting, Kimberly, and we'll have a discussion with him and we'll decide how to proceed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we have 8 minutes before our next reboot, so let's get through the last 2 agenda items in 8 minutes. When the Zoom closes, we are adjourned. How does that sound?
Amazing.
All right, so council activity, lay it on me. Go ahead. If anybody has any council activity,
I went to the Harbor special meeting, but it was really approval of their budget and capital spend, so I'm not
Okay.
major coming out of it.
Russ, nothing?
Just real quick, the Board of Supervisors did approve the county ordinance in regulation change. So they made some adjustments to Midcoast, so like ADUs that are smaller builds that were less than 150 square feet. Let me go to my notes so I say this correctly. So the ADUs would remain ministerial, but the design standards for the dwelling units will still go through the Midcoast design review group. Standards become more effective, so projects need to go through the design, like I said. Smaller projects will bypass the CDRC. The exemption threshold went from 150 square feet to 500. And then the story poles will become mandatory for larger projects above the 800 square feet. So anything smaller than that, you're not going to see the post out there. And then they approved the new lighting standards and also the glass for the birds were in part of that too. So that change that they made and it was passed yesterday. Hopefully that makes sense.
That did, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And so I gave my update to the Half Moon Bay City Council. And we met on outreach. We had our subgroup met on outreach. So we have some ideas on outreach, we won't talk about right now. But we should talk about them at some time.
Yes.
Future agenda.
Yeah, well, that will be, so that will be put down as a future agenda, outreach. And we have a plan. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. I am not going to read off what we have as future agendas due to this the timer may go off on the Zoom. So I'm gonna propose that we adjourn at this time.
Great.
Are you okay with that, Kimberly? We're gonna adjourn. All right, we're adjourned.
Yeah, great work, team.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Thanks,
Scott.
Carl.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Carl.
So Kimberly, before you go,
Uh-oh.
is it you, me and Kimberly that go?
No, it was Gus.
It was Scott, me and Kimberly.
Gus.
Gus.
whoever.
I got you.
It's Scott.
That's fine.
That's Scott.
Thanks, everyone.
Sitting this one out. We will have to figure out how to do this. We can do it offline, I guess.
Well, it seems like she started.
Thanks, David.
Awesome.
All right.